Welcome to the Mind Body Podcast. I'm your host, Maria Angelova, and I'm here to challenge everything you have been told about aging and wellness. This podcast is for those who refuse to accept that growing old means growing unhealthy. Each week, I will bring you dynamic conversations with inspirational guests, sharing practical advice, insights, and motivation to live your life rebelliously as you age with grace and vitality. This is your time to embrace self-care, transformation, and an infectious spirit that says no to the conventional and yes to a vibrant, powerful life. Let's dive in and redefine what it means to live well. Hi, Rebels, and welcome to the Mind Body Podcast with me, your host, Maria. And today we get to talk to Inês, who is a mentor and a coach for gifted and highly sensitive people. And I'm so excited to have Inês here because we connected over LinkedIn, and oh my gosh, we've had several absolutely amazing conversations. So welcome to be here with us today, Inês. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I am super, super excited to be here with you. If this goes anything as our conversations, it's going to be, I don't know, maybe the best podcast ever. I'm just, throwing that out there.
Yes, I know. So this is what I love about meeting people. I am so lucky to have the best conversations with people and to get to know the real person, which is actually kind of ties to what we're thinking to talk about here. We never know how the conversation is going to turn, but let's not spoil it for people before we dive in. Tell us 3 words that describe you, Inês, and give us a little bit of a background or a story behind each word.
Oh, 3 words to describe me, which describe
Yes.
me, myself.
Yes.
That is a very good question. And as you can see, not at all rehearsed because okay. Now let's go.
Let's go.
I am clear. And the little bit of story behind that is that I do tend to see things very clearly. I have this thing of going, like with a laser beam focus into the heart of the matter. So that's one. Clear, clarity, and go with adjectives.
Mhm.
I am non-judgmental. This is something that the people that I work with, they really appreciate it because you cannot have permission to be yourself if you even fear like you're being judged. And highly sensitive people, they have very fine antennas, so they really know when they are, getting into that area. And I am fast. I'm fast. I'm very, very fast. I evolve fast. I think fast. I have to pace myself not to speak very fast. And that is usually good for for people who are around me and stuff. Sometimes other people don't feel very comfortable with that, and that has been something that I did not have to work on it. I had to learn how to turn that into a superpower, the speed. But yeah, I got there, so I'm good. And I'm fast, so that's good.
So I love, Inês, that you talk about being not judgmental because I think that's actually a huge part of my evolution, and something that I work with people is seeing people for who they are, because every single one of us carries a story, and we see the world through our own story, and my story and your story could be completely different, right? Therefore, our lens on the world is completely different. So being not judgmental, I think it's huge. And that goes into we can have a conversation about this in its own. And the other part that I really like of what you said is that you have learned to take something that you have been judged for, or perhaps given feedback on, and you have turned it into a strength in something that helps you in what you do today. So let's talk about, when we talk about highly sensitive people. So if I don't know anything about highly sensitive people, or even if I don't know if I'm a highly sensitive person, what are some things that will give me out when you talk and you're like,
What I usually look at, and everybody can look at this, at the reactions of others, because when you are when you are anything at all, you measure this if it's in the norm or if it's more intense or less intense by measuring against society, against the norm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have heard things like, you are too sensitive, you think too much, life is not fair, why are you making such a fuss? It's just like it is, you are too idealistic, all those terrible twos, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have heard those, then there is a good chance that you might be highly sensitive.
Now you're getting me to question myself, Inês.
Well, it's a superpower. It's not a drawback. It's just, others do this, but it's been. I mean, if I got a cent for every time that I was told you are too, whatever, one of
You in the blank.
I would break the bank. It's because it would be awesome. I would be rich. Especially the idealistic. In my case, that's people go like, yo, you're just too idealistic. The world is not like that. And I'm like, no, you're seeing it wrong. But that's
You're saying it wrong. I like that.
And the other thing is also from others, when you get this feedback that you have too many emotions, or even when you're letting yourself go, you're feeling something, you're letting yourself go, and you get, let me see if I can make this look, and you're getting this like, like, why are you doing that? And you're just expressing an emotion. Yes, there is the possibility that the person who's doing that is completely, emotionally illiterate. But there is also, if it keeps happening, that the fact that you do feel and express your emotions with more intensity than regular people, and then it is not a bad idea to look into high sensitivity, because it does have not consequences, but it does change the reality of these people, the fact that they are.
So let's take that, because you keep talking about, turning your, so to say, things that the world perceives as weaknesses, turning them into superpowers. Let's talk about that, because I will tell you, just today I was speaking to a client, and she has gone through such incredible growth. And as she was walking out, she goes, she's like, I know now, there is nothing wrong with me. She's like, all of that feedback, I just wasn't in the right place. To get to that place of like confidence and going like, wow, I'm good, I'm solid. How do you help people step into their superpower? Because that's your superpower.
That's one of mine. It's, what usually happens, and this is whenever I see this happening, I'm like, gosh, again, and this is so awesome, and I love it every time. People lack perspectives. Let me explain. The world shows you an image of what is supposed to be right, which is all. We could also do an episode of, is there a right and wrong?
Yeah, right and wrong. Yeah,
doesn't matter. But the world goes like, this is right, this is wrong. They show you, bless you. They show you, the desired behavior, right? And you internalize it. And the thing with highly sensitive people is that they internalize it faster, because they have very fine antennas. They understand it immediately as children, and they internalize it because they understand, oh, I will make people happy like this, so I will be this. And they adapt. They are very, very adaptable. That's actually one of the superpowers of highly sensitive people. And then they live their lives thinking that they are wrong, because they are assuming that what they should be is this. And what I do sometimes, I just go at them, and I say, look at this perspective. Let's see, let's just turn things. We don't even need to turn them on their head. Just turn them on the side, okay? Look at this. For example, one thing, I just said this to a client today. She was saying, oh, I don't want to make mistakes. And I was telling her, there are no mistakes. And she went like, what? What do you mean there are no? Yeah, there are no mistakes, because you don't know what would happen if you've done something else, because you haven't. So there are no mistakes. She was like, wow, that's right. So this showing a different perspective from a logical standpoint, from a logical view, as this is a construct, but there, here is another one, an alternative one, and maybe this one is right. Who tells you it isn't? People just, it opens their minds, and suddenly they start seeing that what they have been told their whole lives was wrong actually can not be wrong. And this is the first step to accept that that can be a superpower.
I so dig what you're saying, because I work with all kinds of people, and I do the same type of exercises. And when they say, well, this is right, or this is wrong, or this is good, or this is bad, whatever it is, I would just say, is it? And they, their first reaction is like, what? Because it's something that's very widely accepted by society, right? It's something that we all fit in the box with it.
Yeah.
And then there is like confusion. They're like, what do you mean? So then I start asking them questions, and you can just tell their head is just spinning, right? Yeah. And very interestingly, many times they're like, well, what's right? What's wrong? What's good? Right now, they're like, well, is this the right thing, or is this the right thing? Now, very important is what's right for me may not be the right thing for you, and what's right for you may not be the right thing for me, right? Because we are two different humans, two different persons, two different experiences, and so forth. I asked them to tap into their body. And I love that you're talking about that, because that's where the whole mind-body connection into what I do with the Angelova method comes. And I ask them, so how does that feel into their body? And you just see the tension, like, oh, like the shoulders come up. Maybe they start breathing shallow. And then I'll give them the alternative, which is the supposedly wrong way, right? And you can just tell the tension of their body just like dissipates. And I'm like, so based on the feedback you're getting for yourself from your own body, what is the feedback? And they look at me like, oh my gosh, like, they're so like, how come nobody has told us that? And it's such a phenomenal, like, bing, 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 like you've won the lottery type of experience for people. And you're absolutely right. They start seeing the world through a totally different perspective and lens, which the reality is the same, right? The reality has not changed. What has changed is their view of the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that shapes reality for them completely. It's the reality. It's the same, but it's always different. Yeah. And one of the things I love that you're saying about what you're saying about the mind body connection, because this is also a point where highly sensitive people are at an advantage and a disadvantage. It's a disadvantage if you try to follow the world, and it's an advantage if you try to follow yourself, because or if you follow yourself, because since highly sensitive people are very reactive, they are very they feel things more intensely, then of course they will have the feedback from their bodies will be louder usually. They are the great candidates for somatic symptoms. And
you're right, because this can go either way, right?
Of course. And if they are suffering from a somatic symptomatic, and if it's that strong on that direction, they can actually turn it into the other one. And sometimes what I encounter, and I'm like, oh God, the world sometimes is really very stupid. I'm sorry, it just had to be put out there. Sometimes some clients resist the lightness of seeing the other perspective. What you were describing, they will go like, oh, boom, bing, 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 but then they go back and they're like, oh, but it's not supposed to feel this good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Do you know how many times? Yes. People will do that and be like, do you know what people tell me a lot? When they tap into the right muscles, when they tap into alignment, they do the exact same exercise. They'll say, well, that just feels like I'm not working hard enough.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, and what is wrong with not working hard enough? And now they're so confused. Like, what do you mean? Like, and I'll tell you, sometimes I get lectured by people who are like, well, I have goals and I have this and I have ambition. And it's like, all right, tell me more. And then I keep asking questions, right? Yeah. And you're right, because I don't know where this is coming from, but most of us are conditioned, work hard, You have to do this, you have to do that. When it gets to movement, you have to kill your body to do a workout. Like, why is movement not supposed to feel good? Why is movement in your body not supposed to feel light?
Yes, I have a theory about that.
Oh, well,
Can
yeah.
I tell it? Yes. Um, I think that this has to do actually with um, keeping people in line. And this
100%.
comes from and this comes from very, very early. Religion plays a huge part in this. This thing, you have to work hard to earn your place, to earn your, and I have, especially with my gifted clients, this thing that you have to earn the love of people, you have to earn your place in the world, you have to earn your
Mm-hmm.
salary, your, you
Yeah.
have to earn things. And they go there through their whole life thinking they are not enough because they are not doing enough, they are not working hard enough.
Yes.
They see the failures and they put the whole responsibility on their own, even when they're saying no, 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 it's because of the market, whatever, but they're putting internally the responsibility on their own shoulders because they are not doing enough, they are not earning it. And we come into the world, and this was a huge breakthrough for me because of course I went through all these stages, and this is why I
You
can
have
do.
experienced this.
Yes, firsthand, everything. I usually say to my clients, I don't give you anything that I haven't tested on myself.
Same here.
Yes, of course you have to. um Only then you're a serious professional, really. Like,
Hey, Rebels. I want to take a quick moment to share something super exciting with you. If you've been feeling stuck, disconnected, or just know there is more to life than what you're experiencing, I have something special for you. I have created a powerful 6-step video series called Unleash Your Potential, an introduction to the Angelova method. As a valued Mind Body podcast listener, the series is my gift to you. In this series, I will guide you through the core elements of the Angelova method, a unique approach that integrates movement, mindset, and mastery to help you align your body, mind, and life. You will learn practical techniques to improve your alignment, boost your core strength, and connect deeply to your inner self. Whether you're looking to enhance your physical health, gain mental clarity, or simply live more fully, these videos are designed to get you started on the path to your most vibrant self. And the best part? It's completely free. So if you're ready to break through barriers and unleash your full potential, head over to mindbodyexpert.com and get started today. Let's take this journey together, because you, my rebel, deserve nothing less than the extraordinary.
you are born with a right to exist. And this was the huge breakthrough for me. You are born, you were born, you are here. You have your place. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to earn love. Actually, love is not supposed to be earned. But this is so difficult, especially for people who are highly cerebral, who are very much here, who live very much here. And almost all of my gifted clients and mostly all gifted people are very cerebral because of course they have a very fast brain and they rely on it. And then they go like, you know, I have to perform to be worthy of this world. And
Yeah.
no, the fact that you exist is already bringing something to the world. You don't need to do anything else, but it's
Yeah.
difficult.
But that's our conditioning, and it starts from the young age. And I completely agree with you. This is a beautiful way to control people and to make them fit in inside the line. And then we're all doing the same thing and we're told what to do. Because you know what? If you step out of the line, what's going to happen then? You won't be approved. You won't be validated. You won't be applauded, right? You will be criticized.
And
People will say things about you. And for anybody human, I mean, especially highly sensitive people, but for any human being, that goes against our nature, which is, what do we all want? Acceptance and love.
we need it, actually. And this is something that that is sometimes an aha moment for people as well. Being accepted is the first survival mechanism. Why are babies cute? There is no other reason to not have their parents leaving them on the door. They cry. They are difficult. If they aren't cute, we're just going to leave them somewhere. Well, we would, but
Yeah.
it's the first survival mechanism is
Yeah.
not to be left behind. It taps into the most profound,
Basic.
most basic survival instinct, exactly,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
to be accepted and validated.
Yeah.
And going through against this, there are not many people who actually, I know people who go like, I don't care what people say, and they actually mean it. But highly sensitive people are usually not that sort.
Yeah. And that is something I'll tell you, speaking of personal experience, I have personally, because I come from communism, which was, there was no individuality. It was all about fitting in. There is no risk, there is risk aversion. And you just fit, you very much worry about what people are going to say, what people think about you, and all of that stuff. So to break free from those cuffs, it is something. And it is so liberating when you do that and let go of, we started talking about those judgments. And that takes me to another point, which I love to talk about, and that is the power of community and the power of the tribe, as I call it, right? Because when we're breaking the rules, when we are becoming rebellious and stepping into our authenticity and our personal power, and we hear that feedback, it is so crucial that we have people who are like-minded, who are doing the same thing, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing. And here is your new support system of people who are like stepping outside their comfort zone and are creating their own reality and their own life outside of the box.
Exactly. Because that goes and taps exactly into the same sphere, into the same survival mechanism and annuls it. Because it goes like, you don't need to be afraid to be left behind. Here is your community. Here is your people. Find your people. I keep telling this to my people. You need to find your people. And many of them, because loneliness is a huge problem, especially for gifted people, because statistically,
Mm-hmm.
there are not
Mm-hmm.
that many, and many of them don't recognize the mechanisms. And I keep telling them, find your people, find your people, and they go, oh, find your people, you'll find your purpose, you'll find your path.
Yeah.
If
I
you go
100%.
their first problem or hiccup is,
Reaction.
how do I find them? I don't know what to look for. Should I look for, I don't know, university professors? Should I look what? No, throw away the book. You won't find your people going like that. Just throw away the book on how to find friends, the book that someone else wrote, and you have to look for the things. And here the high sensitivity comes very, very handy, because you look for the signals that gives you people who are idealistic, sensitive, think too much, all of those things, the quiet ones in the corner that you know that they are listening, but they are not speaking because they are timid sometimes. If you look for those signs, you start finding people. And then if you build your group, if you build your community, and they can be, and these people who have friends, I mean, I have friends, I have friends from PhDs to hairdressers. It's
Yeah.
I had to throw away the book. I cannot follow any
Well,
previous.
from my experiences, when you start stepping into your truth and into your authenticity, those people naturally get attracted to you. So it's not like you even have to go look for them. You naturally find them, Even if
If
you
you
go to a big, go ahead.
but if you are not, if you are a little bit, at least a little bit, an extrovert.
Mm.
Because if you are an introvert, a serious introvert, like many of my clients are, for example, it's not that easy, because they do have they have this energy, but it's very contained, that they do not like to go to social events. They do not like to,
To put themselves out there. Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes they have trouble even letting that light out. And they are the ones who want to keep control and look for people. And then they have to know these things. If you are an extrovert, absolutely. You just radiate and people come. That is a very big advantage. If you're an introvert, you need to know what to look for.
Yeah. So if anybody is listening to us right now, Inês, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, what is your number one advice to somebody who is like, I'm dealing with those exact things that she's talking about. What is your I know there's a lot that goes into this. We're having a very oversimplified conversation, but what will get somebody like the first step toward, I'll call it, towards liberation, towards freedom, towards rebellion?
Towards rebellion. Let me think, because the first thing that occurs to me is come talk to me. That was really
that's not a bad first step. Definitely hook up with Inês.
That's what I do. No, but I'm thinking what would be the first, because it depends a little bit if you are gifted or if you are sensitive. I think the first step is find out what you are. Labels are only useful for the first phase. Afterwards, as soon as you know what you are, you can throw the label away. But if you find out what you are, you can start looking for the right things already. Internet researches and so on. Because one thing that happens often with the people that I work with is false mental diagnosis, actually. To a therapist, and they get diagnoses like narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, and these are serious diagnoses. They're not like, and they start looking for help in those areas, and they cannot find it, and they think that they are lost. There is no one who can help them because someone said something and they are trying. So really find out what you are, like, for real, not, it has to resonate with you, because that makes things easier.
Makes the next step clearer. Makes the next step clearer. Very
At least
cool.
It puts you on the right path. Because if you want to buy milk and you're going into an auto stand, I mean, you're not going to get
chances of finding milk are slim. Inês, where can people, speaking of connecting with you, what is the best place for people to connect with you or to find you, to get the conversation going?
If they would like, the best place I would say is to go to my website, which is inesnw.com/en for English, and book a discovery call with me. They're free. So just, come talk to me. If they want something that is not so personal, they can find me on Instagram, and that's Ines_quantum8.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, Inês, I can't let you escape without you telling me what's your definition of rebellious.
My definition of rebellious, well, that is very easy, actually. An easy question.
Right?
Being yourself unapologetically. I don't know a higher act of rebellion than actually going against what the whole world tries to look shiny and right and acceptable and God knows what else, and say, nah, I'm sticking with myself.
Love it. That's like the perfect ending to the episode. I do have to wrap it, but yes, I agree with Inês. I totally agree with that, because there is so much power. I can relate to a lot of the things that you spoke about, because so hard for so many years, I tried to fit in. I really tried. And I was like, you're too loud, you're too passionate, you're too excited, you're too this, you're too that. And I just thought, like, man, what is wrong with me, And I tried to tone it down, and oh my gosh, like, you don't have to do that. And I now can serve the world in such greater capacity and be myself. I mean, that's like, whoa. Yeah. And be yourself unapologetically. Woo! Yeah, see, now I'm getting excited just talking about it. Well, Inês, I really appreciate you being here with us. Rebels, you know the spiel. If you have any questions, let us know what they are. If you need to connect with Inês, please find her on social, on her website. Of course, we'll post those. If you know of anybody who can benefit from this episode, please make sure that you share that information. That information, I mean, really, it is applicable to highly sensitive people. It is applicable to talented people. It is really applicable to everybody. Let's be honest, everybody who is a human being. So help us spread the word. I do hope you enjoyed that. Inês, thank you so much for your energy, your wisdom. And I do know we're going to stay connected. Rebels, you make it an amazing day. And most importantly, do not forget to stay rebellious. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for joining us on the Mind Body Podcast, where we explore the power of living authentically and rebelliously. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebellious soul who would love to hear what we share as much as you do. Stay strong, stay calm, and most importantly, stay rebellious. Until next time, rebellious souls, keep living fully. Your journey is just beginning.